I think the fans were right up for it, as they would be for Tottenham, and I think just experiencing it, the fans were just in voice. They were strong, boisterous. It felt like we were and then you've got to try and move them on, and then someone's unhappy because so it's very difficult. I think stability in football is not there anymore. You talk about these managers under the cosh, Thomas Frank, rightly or wrongly, Arnie Slot, the Crystal Palace man.
Basically, your
Oh,
game and your team have just sacked Tottenham's manager.
it could be a quiz, it could be playing a random song or something, I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you like randomness, I guess check it out.
yeah, it's definitely random for me when I'm having a poo. But
And West Ham find a winner. Swept in by Scholes and it's bouncing around. It's in! Callum Wilson makes his mark off the bench. How big a moment that could be for West Ham United.
good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching around the world. This is One Way Football's one-on-one fan talk. Today, we're brought to you by Car Loans 365, which is a company that I actually work for. And if you're looking to get car finance, head over to their website, which is carloans365.com, and look into the different deals that we can provide. So, look, let's get into it. So I'm joined here today with Izzy Rascal, the return of Izzy Rascal, brand new year, and what a win that was for West Ham United against Tottenham away as well. Before we start anything, mate, how are you in yourself, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Yeah, 2026, looking forward to the year and hopefully being a bit better than last year, to be fair.
All right, okay, good. Did you have a good New Year?
It was quiet, mate. As I say, I had the dreaded lurgy like everyone else did, flew around that time. So I was pretty much, boring and asleep, trying to get over it. But I'm glad I have in 2026. And yeah, it was a bit of a write-off, if I'm honest. So got to make up for it now.
Yeah, of course, mate, of course. And what a way to make up of it, because you went to the game yesterday, I heard.
I did, yeah. It was one of the rare away game outings, and I'm so glad I went. It was joyous.
What was the
Uh,
for the away fans and that? What was the atmosphere like?
well, this is interesting because I've never been to Tottenham since they've done the like the new stadium
Like
and that.
obviously because I'm
Uh,
saying because of obviously the situation that West Ham are in, and
mm,
obviously protests about getting owners out, and the whole club is going and direction the club is going. So what was the tension like? And that was it like a hostile tension? Was it like flat? Was
uh,
it like
I think the fans were right up for it, as they would be for Tottenham, and I think just experiencing it, the fans were just in voice. They were strong, boisterous. It felt like we were determined. It felt all the good things that we weren't really maybe getting from the team. But they were kind of giving me the confidence. They were high in spirit, singing the songs. Crowd atmosphere was great. I thought all the away fans were, that's the difference with the home and away games. You're going to get a bit more of a dedicated fan, I feel, in the away games. No disrespect to the home fans, but of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
that
yeah, of
little congression that we've got, I don't know what the allocation was, but everyone, you couldn't find anyone not singing. So it was really good. And I thought the
yeah,
stadium does a good job of, keeping that sound in. And yeah, we sounded loud to me anyway, where I was.
course, yeah, of course. And that's exactly what you want as well when going to these grounds.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a derby as such as itself, like Tottenham versus West Ham is always going to be, I think, a big derby. It always is when it comes with two London teams come together.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
was your expectations going into this game? Did you think, yeah, no, it's gonna be tough. It's
Uh,
gonna be a hard game to go like to and that,
I'm so pessimistic, mate. Any optimism I have is probably long gone. I didn't feel we could beat them. I know they're on a bad run of form, and I don't think the team's that great. They've got a couple of good performers, good players, but I didn't expect us to do anything, if I'm honest. And you never know what West Ham will turn up. And I thought we were brilliant the first half. And yeah, there's a lot of people that I spoke to as well were quite like confident that we would get something out of the game. I was kind of hoping for a draw, but they were really bad in the first half. I felt, credit to our players, they were up for it. It felt like they were up for it. A lot of good performers, I felt, throughout the game, but they were always going to come back into it the second half because they weren't great. But I felt we made it so that they weren't great. They're under pressure as well with a manager and their poor run of form. And
Yeah.
and thankfully we nicked the goal at the end. But I was very happy with what I saw. Probably one of the best first half performances we've seen this year. Probably the
Yeah, of
best,
course.
if I'm not
And you
honest.
know what, as well, that I actually thought that you look at when I was looking at the stats just then, they had 21 shots on target. 21, by the way.
Mate,
21 shots to
well,
your 17 is
yeah,
absolute, and
and
shots on target was 6 to your 4. And it's just that there just goes to show that Tottenham aren't great at the moment. It's not a great team, are they?
I,
And when any team that goes up against West Ham, I'm looking at that going, that's 3 points right out of the bag there. Come on, especially when it
well,
is Tottenham. But Tottenham aren't on a great run at the moment. I understand, but you know, no offense to West Ham, but you're just a poor team as well at the moment. The way you are.
yeah, and there's no sort of like when you think about it as well, someone like Paquetá, who I've mentioned loads of times, wasn't even in the squad yesterday. Supposedly our, one of the best players we've got, and we won without him. And I think you need a little bit of something different than you're petulant if you want skills, not that he produces them at all. And I think we just did such a good job. They're a poor team, and I would agree. Like, you would look at us as a fixture and go, "Oh, that's an easy 3 points if you're an opposition team." But as I say, they were in a bad run of form as well, and I felt they may have had a bit of pressure with the home fans and the manager being under the cosh a little bit. Yeah, it was there for us a little bit, but I'd make you right. Yeah, we are a poor team. There's no getting away from it. I'm not under no illusions we're going to go on a crazy run, but we did the basics really well, which was commitment and dedication,
I didn't
playing
get to
like
see the
playing
game,
determined.
but what I heard that you was on the front foot most of the game anyway.
Yeah, this is it. But the trouble with the second half now, whether it was a bit of Tottenham being better or whether we tactically, mentally, physically retreated through fitness or like just worry, that's my concern because we can't hold on to a lead. And I said at the half time, we needed that second goal. We had a couple of good chances to make it two, offside goal and whatever. But when we started the second half, I just felt they're going to come out and we're going to need that second goal. Evidently, they got the equaliser. It was a good header, to be fair. I watched it back and I just thought sometimes you've got to just give credit. It was a good ball in, good header. I
Yeah.
didn't really feel there was any fault for any of the players for that one, but we persevered and we got it at the end. But it didn't look likely watching it in the second half. But yeah, I'm just so glad, mate, that we got the 3 points. It feels so alien to me to feel happy that we've won. It's been so long since we won. We won against QPR, but in the league, it's different kettle of fish.
And I had a Forest fan come on yesterday, and we were talking about this, that it's crucial for them to get a point as well, because teams around, that bottom area, Leeds won, West Ham United won, and then Forest obviously needed to get um, that
That was
point
the that was
just to try and stay above, because things started to catch up at this second half of the season, and this is where you need to start picking up points, and for West Ham to pick up 3 points away as well. I
yeah.
know the form hasn't been great either side, home or away, but that kind of gives you a boost and go, right, okay, we've got a platform now. Let's just move on game by game. Let's concentrate on the next game. Let's forget about what the past and everything, what we've done. Let's now just move forward from this, because I feel like West Ham fans, they seem to hold a grudge a lot on the situation that they're behold. But really, what they should be doing is maybe like looking at the circumstances and seeing how they could change it moving forward, rather than going wishful thinking. Let's practical think and just go, right, okay, so we've got Sunderland next. We're at home. Let's base it off of what we've just done now to Tottenham. You've just done a smash and grab against Tottenham. Sunderland are a bit of a better team at the moment, in their form, but you've just got to take a bit of confidence, I think, don't you?
I would agree. There's a lot of grievances with the club and that, and you attributed it earlier when you asked how was the atmosphere like. Well, the fans still protested on the 15th minute with the red cards and everything, which I think is fair enough because again,
Yeah.
we go back to we won a European Cup and we've plummeted, and the fault lies solely at the board, in my opinion. And the fans are going to have grievances with that and continue to have their grievances with it. But in the same token, yeah, you can support the team, but while still kind of being upset with the regime that currently befalls us. But I think that I agree. You talked about Forest yesterday. I couldn't believe that was a draw. I don't want that to kind of dim what we achieved yesterday. So I'm just focusing on the fact that, well, I am anyway. I don't know about the rest of the fans. We beat Tottenham. It was a great day for us. We played well as well. A lot of encouraging elements to it. And you're right, we're on a 2-game win streak if you consider the QPR one. Now, can that breed confidence? What can that do for the players? I'd hope it would invigorate them and stuff, and we can perhaps get a win against Sunderland. But again, no easy game in this league.
Yeah, no, there isn't. And I was having this debate with someone over on TikTok before we came on this live, and everyone was saying, it's such a poor league, and and I'm going, well, no, not really. I think this league is more interesting than previous leagues, because previous leagues it's just been like a whole farmers league. You kind of predict it to just be City win the league, bottom three that get the bottom three that came up are just going to go back down again. You know, and it's I think this season's been a bit more interesting within itself. There's okay, so people are going to argue the fact that because of Arsenal where they are, I'm just biased and I'm saying this because of we're at the top of the league. Well, we've done that the last 3 seasons and not won it, so it doesn't mean anything apparently. But other teams are building around us, so that's what makes it different. City aren't the same team. Liverpool aren't the same team. United are building a team. They're trying to build something. Chelsea, well, they just spent 2 billion and just they're relevant. They are where they are at the moment. But they've got a young squad as well. West Ham, they're just trying to find that identity back again, I think. You know, for the last is it 2 seasons or something, you've been down there. Um, and I kind of think that West Ham just don't know who they are at the moment.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty with that, but when you go through so many managers in a short space of time, that
Yeah.
identity that managers inherit, like Nuno, he's only had the team for a short while. You're kind of having to wait. And again, if you talk about Nuno going, then where is that identity again? You've got the new manager that inherits the old players, not even from the last manager, but like 2 managers ago, and then you've got to try and move them on, and then someone's unhappy because so it's very difficult. I think stability in football is not there anymore. You talk about these managers under the cosh, Thomas Frank, rightly or wrongly, Arnie Slot, the Crystal Palace manager. I think that and stability breeds an identity, and if the way the football world is at the moment, you have a bad run of form, the manager's useless, get him out. The players are useless, get him out. And I think, yeah, West Ham are probably not the only club that have to deal with that kind of identity crisis. But for us, yeah, we have had dreams and aspirations to play a certain way. We're kind of in the relegation zone. We don't have the players, we don't have the manager who wants to play like that. And it's all about survival. If we, and maybe we can kick on with an identity next year. But again, things change just so quickly. New players will arrive, and how will they adapt to Nuno if he's in charge? How will they adapt to his way of playing? Will they, it's very difficult nowadays. I think, James, with keeping that identity. You go back some years, and football teams were more stable, like your Man Uniteds when they were in their peak era. They had players that played for them for ages.
Yeah. I mean, like I go back to like everyone's falling off of the football, like, of the every club's fallen off, and that's why Arsenal are where they are. But Arsenal were the same. I just think Arsenal were just they're probably the best of a bad bunch at the moment because Arsenal haven't been playing great football. And that just goes to show, like, I think the rest of the league is just falling off a little bit. Standards have fallen off. Teams have fallen off. You look at West Ham, and I just think, yeah, they fell off quite a bit. Considering where you was winning that European trophy, you was in Europe. You was up the top half of the table, and then all of a sudden, you're back down there. And you fall. You haven't just like tripped up a little bit. You've fallen quite far down. Um, but I think with West Ham fans as well, even at their home ground, I think they need to start supporting the club a bit more. And I know it's hard to say that, and Arsenal have been in the same position as well with this with the Cronkies out and everything. But there has to be a point where we just go, "Well, okay, we're just repeating ourselves now, isn't it?" I watched the game. I think we had this conversation before. I think there was hardly anyone in the ground. Was
Sorry,
it?
just one thing. I think the mic might be a little bit staticky, so I'm a bit
Okay,
funny.
yeah, we'll just. I can still hear you a bit. Yeah.
I can
Can,
hear you fine, but well, I can hear you, but it's kind of jittering.
or was it? Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Obviously, I've got a new setup and everything, and I'm still just getting work, like trying to like figure it all out and that. But what was I saying? Yeah. So I think I was watching a game. It might have been when I was away. But, I watched the game and I was like, there was no one there at the ground. It was empty. I think it was a midweek game. I know it was a mid. It could have been the cup game. Was you playing at
Oh,
home then? It was, yeah.
I think it was on the telly. It weren't the cup game because I didn't watch that one. It was
Was it
it
the
was whoever
Forest
we
game? It could
played.
have been the Forest game.
Yeah, well, it probably was. But I said this at the time because someone said to me about that, and it's to me it was a televised game. Who can afford to be going to these football matches? I spent about 100 quid yesterday, and that was away like an away day. So I don't blame, and I don't consider any families or people want to go on a cold night to watch rubbish, pretty much, which is probably what they would have been served up, and rightly so. Um, I get it. You want to support your team. I want to support my team, but I'm not. We live in a different climate now. It's more costly for working class people to be going to these football matches, and if you've got kids with you, all right, maybe for West Ham, I think it's kids for a quid or something. But you still, time you buy drinks, time you do this, get other things. It's a costly day out. So I would agree that the attendance was low. Now, if the games aren't televised, I think you see an upturn. But a lot of the diehard fans, have gone away from the match day experience. And again, I don't judge them for that because the standard of football is not good enough to be going and watching. The match day experience has lost a lot since we moved to the stadium. There's still things that we'll continue to go on about that because it isn't what was promised when we moved there. Okay, they've made some little improvements, but in the grand scheme of things, just one off the top of the bat, the seats being so far away from
So
the
just
pitch. Go to a
quickly, does like the owners, do you rent that stadium?
Yeah, we rent the stadium. We got like a lease for 99 years or whatever it is, but I don't know the ins and outs of the deal. Whether what happens when we get relegated, I think there's certain stipulations. I don't really know the ins and outs of the deal, but yeah, we rent the stadium. We don't own
Right,
it.
yeah. So yeah, I understand that. So I don't know why can the ownership not just put like a bid in to like buy the stadium?
Well, I think, yeah, this is the thing. The ownership, if you were talking about an ambitious bunch of people that maybe wanted to do that and actually had a desire to do that, then that would probably get the ball rolling a bit better. But I think the LDDC, is that what they are? The London, committee or whatever.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple of considerations involved in it, from the Olympic Legacy Committee to the borough. And I think, again, I'm not in that world of contracts and stuff like that, but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
even
yeah,
if we wanted to buy it and had the money, I think there would be other considerations maybe
yeah.
that have to go into that. But in terms of buying the stadium, it would be.
Oh, we do have another technical problem. Just yeah, do apologize for that. This show, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in the Matrix that this show cannot put up with West Ham beating a top
I think
six
I,
side.
I think, well, yeah, the good use of speech marks there. But I think that what I was saying about the stadium, yeah, is if we had owners with a bit of ambition who maybe wanted to buy it and have discussions, maybe it could happen. But we
Mm,
don't have ambitious owners, as people have seen, and they don't really have the acumen, I would say, to kind of make it work. So unless we get them out, um, but I don't know. I think that's another issue. The stadium itself, when you've got people with experience at Upton Park, and now they're going to this, and they remember Upton Park. There's no
yeah,
comparison. You're paying more
yeah, yeah,
money to watch worse football, and I can understand why people don't want to do that.
yeah. It, It's just such a weird thing with West Ham right now, isn't it? The whole
It's tough.
concept
It's
of
tough.
what it is, where you are in the league, when you don't know when the next win's going to come from, if you're going to win. The stadium seems flat. The fan base just seems like a bit dull and dismal because of what they've been like given, what they've just been told and thrown. Like, go that that's what you're getting, that's what you have, that's what's going. What we have to look at is the situation of if West Ham do go down, what's next then? Because we're going to see probably a lot of players in that team wanting to move on. And then
Yeah, which
that's when
wouldn't.
you've got to start worrying about, the team just going into this pit of just nothing and just, we've seen it with teams before that go like that go down and, players move on because they want better things to happen. Like
Yeah,
players
and I
like
mean,
Bowen, would you see him staying?
I wouldn't see him staying, and I wouldn't have any qualms about him going. To be fair, because I think that he's under a bit of stick. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show, but obviously he's captain of the club. You've got a lot of fans that remember the captains we've had in the past who are quite particular type of characters. Your Julian Dicks, your Mark Nobles, Kevin Nolan. He's not that kind of character, and I think maybe the fans are maybe judging him a little bit too harshly on that. There's been certain situations where maybe he hasn't acted in the way that maybe one of those captains would have, like Ollie Scholes being upset about the goal conceded. A consolable arm around his shoulder might have been something that a Noble would have done. Bowen's a little bit different. Now, whether that means he's just a terrible captain, worse a player, or whatever, I don't buy that. He's a different captain, and I think he's been brilliant for us over the years. But the reality is he's probably, he's playing in a bad team. I can imagine the frustrations he's getting. He's trying hard every week. He's getting a bit of flack from the fans, which I think is a little bit harsh. But again, he's in a difficult situation because we can't take the captaincy off him because that's kind of seen as a negative. I would fully expect, unless we buck our ideas up, he'll be gone. And I don't begrudge him personally going because he's a good player and he should be playing at a better standard of football. And he is what? I don't know how old he is now. He's late, bordering on to his late 20s. I know West Ham's a bit of a club for him in terms of, his wife he met through a fan of the club. You will know who, Danny Dyer is and that. But I think that I don't think anyone would begrudge him going. If we did get relegated, kind of Bowen playing in the Championship, I don't think.
Yeah, and then you've got now the likes of the talks of Paqueta like leaving as well. Um,
Yes, leave the club. Can't stand him. When
Flamengo
you
apparently Flamengo, and he's even like he's even requested that he's rejected. Sorry, West Ham farewell admin.
Well, when you think of, I mean, I didn't know what the lineup would be yesterday, and for him not to be on the bench, I mean, I don't know I don't know if he's got an injury. There was talk in the week that he was refusing to play. Deja vu. We had that with Payet, but furious his antics. All what the club stood by him during the FA investigation, and what we're asking for 4 months. We're asking for you to turn up and play. We're asking for you to do your due diligence as a football player employed by the club, and you're just a waste of space, mate. His stats have been terrible as well. I've said for a very long time. I don't know how much he's apparently going to Flamingo for, but 35 mil, I'll take it. He's our most expensive signing ever, and
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah,
far wouldn't make any XI team. He's a joke of a player and a joke of a
yeah.
man, to be honest.
Right, yeah, he's. I remember him coming into West Ham, and I remember Arsenal were after him, and I was going, "That is quality signing for West Ham." And he's not been the standard that you've wanted, is it? I mean,
His stats are horrendous as well. I can't remember what they are, but they're really probably lower than you would expect in terms of assists and goals. He just hasn't shown up enough. He's been petulant. The red card he got the other some weeks back,
yeah,
and he could have gone to Man City for 85 mil. That's the caliber he kind of was, or what he promised. He's not got
yeah,
anywhere
yeah,
near
yeah,
that, and now we're looking for 35 mil for him. But I want him out. If we can get rid of him and get someone in who's even 25 mil, I'm sure they'd have better stats than him because you need someone who's going to be committed and actually wants to be there, and he evidently doesn't. So, and I know the FA investigation was probably difficult, but it weren't our fault. It weren't West Ham's fault that happened. It weren't the fans' fault, and we deserve better, to be honest.
yeah. Let's look at some of your next games coming up anyway. So you've got Sunderland at home.
Tough
Um,
one, yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is the mark though, like we said before, is where that you want to just, consistently keep on this run now to the end of the season. But then it doesn't
Yeah,
get any better after that because you've got Chelsea then, away.
tough, tough, tough,
Just
tough.
it's just such a weird, period to be in for West Ham. You want to
I
grab
thought,
them points as much as you can, but looking at the table as well, um, what do you do? You've got to try and hope for other results to go your way as well.
and the annoying thing as well, Forest who are above us, they've got, I think, Brentford, Palace, and
Yeah,
Wolves. So
yeah.
I think it's Brentford first. Now, Palace are on the verge of losing their manager. Might get rid of Mateta, I believe, before the end of the transfer window. Wolves are obviously bottom of the league. So no matter what you think about what West Ham can and can't do, let's just argue: oh, we win Sunderland and we beat Burnley, which would be
Yeah,
6 points. Well,
yeah, yeah.
Are Forest not going to get any points against any of them three teams? You'd expect
Do you
them
know
to at
what?
least pick up a win.
If you look
They're
at
playing.
Forest's last couple of games, obviously they lost to Wrexham in the cup. The last loss was against Aston Villa on the 3rd of January, and they've only had a draw against us and a win against you. So they're not on great form, and they've had what
The,
1, 2, 3 since um since December 22nd of December. They beat Tottenham, and then from that they had 1, 2, 3, 4 losses on the bounce. They beat yous, lost against Wrexham, and then drawn against us. But
yeah.
like you say, yeah, they've got Brentford. Brentford isn't an easy game as well.
No, I don't. I don't think. Yeah, but then they drew against you. So you again, what you said earlier about teams picking points off of teams, you never know. But I think out of them three games,
Dyche
they will
holds up
not
the ball
lose
so
now.
well, doesn't he? The Dyche
Yeah,
ball, it's just that's where he
well,
gets it from.
and he's arguably the manager with the best experience in that situation because of
Yeah,
and he's arguably got a better team to get out of it than he had when he was manager of the other clubs. But I think that yeah, as I say, if we get 6 points, which is quite generously thinking and optimistic, you've got to hope Forest get one win, and even then, the points we're 5 points off of them. I think after yesterday, so as I said before, I think we had our opportunity to win the games against the easier teams, or
yeah,
like your
yeah,
Fulhams
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
your Brightons, and we didn't. And I just still feel, again, I'm trying to just live in the euphoria of the match yesterday. But when we look at the league, it's going to be tough for us still. It is going to be tough.
So let's go through some predictions then before we round it up.
Yeah,
What are you going to say then? West Ham, you're at home, off the bounce of a win away against Tottenham, against Sunderland,
I think a draw. I think it'll be a draw, 1-1.
1-1 on a draw. Yeah. Chelsea,
I think they'll win 3-1.
you're gonna take a loss at Chelsea. Yes, I'd, I'd I'd have to say that as well. To be fair, if anything, and then you've got Burnley.
Which I would say is a must win. So I'm going for a win. It's just 2-0, 2-0 win.
So right now we've got 4 points out of three
Yeah.
games. And Manchester United, who just smashed City 2-0. All depends on how they play against us, I think. I think if they lose against us, they're going to be on they're going to be on a bit of a run probably, um, to try and pick up some more points to get into that. They've got nothing else to play for, have they? United. This is the only
No,
thing.
and the pressure's, I'll say the pressure's off of them. It isn't, but like also new manager again. I didn't see the match yesterday. They were brilliant. I don't know whether
Yeah,
it was the manager or the
it really
players
was.
or the
Yeah,
formation. But I'm looking forward to watching them because apparently, yeah, they were. A lot of people have been just raving about the performance. So, can they
yeah.
carry that on into game two, game three under Carrick? We'll have to see, but it sounds promising. So it would be a difficult game again for us, which is after, right? Man U is after
Burnley. Yeah,
Burnley.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Again.
yeah, and what would you say with that game then? What would you?
Well, this is it. If Man U are playing this brand new Carrick ball, it's going to be just hard for us again.
Yeah,
I don't know. I,
it depends on what your prediction, like what your scores are from previous games, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, that does breed, could breed confidence, could breed, negativity if we lose all the three games. I mean, heaven forbid we do that. But, Man U, could we get up for it? Yeah, I could see us
Yeah,
getting a
yeah,
draw
yeah, yeah,
maybe, but it's
yeah.
going to be so tough, so tough.
Well, let's just put it into hindsight anyway. So look, you've got to look for other results, other places. You've given yourself 4 points out of 3 games there, and then you're not too sure about the United game considering how it goes anyway. But look,
I'll say a
a
draw optimistically, but
a
yeah,
draw,
it's
yeah,
going to
be
be tough.
optimistic, yeah, go for it.
A
Empty
draw, that's what I'm
stadium,
hoping for.
draw
Yeah,
all over.
yeah. I don't know when we play them, but if it's a cold Monday night, yeah, got draw written all over it.
But
A
look,
0-0
listen,
draw, that is.
Izzy, thank you very much for coming on, mate. We've got to wrap it up here because
Thank you.
time is running out for us. But
No
look,
worries,
listen,
mate.
we'll get you back on in probably a couple of weeks' time, see how you're getting on with your games. And
Thank you.
look, you must be happy because basically your
Oh,
game and your team have just sacked Tottenham's manager.
has he been sacked?
No, well, it's
Oh,
being assessed, but I would say it is probably in the works right as we speak right now, and his name is up on that chalkboard, ready to be
I
rubbed
think
off.
so. To,
You
to, to
know,
lose against us, it's a tough one to stomach. But I'm
yeah.
ecstatic, mate. It was a brilliant experience to go yesterday with the fans
And
and have a bit of,
you chose the right game to go out to,
that's it.
and yeah, get a
Get me
win.
to the next
So
game.
maybe you need to start
Freebie.
going to more games, mate. This is what it
It's,
is. You say the football's
it's
dead, but the football hasn't left you, mate. If you go to them.
that's it. The Izzy effect is in full effect. Get me
That's
there.
the one. That's the one. Look, listen, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Izzy, for coming on once again.
You're welcome,
It's
mate.
always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to have you on this show, and we are
Thank
back
you.
for more videos, more content throughout the new year. And yes, we look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you very much, Izzy. Do not
Cheers,
forget to
mate.
like and subscribe this video. I will be putting a link into Izzy's TikTok channel as well. Go and give that a follow. Go and give it. He does some interesting little quizzes and but yeah, I go on there some nights and you actually go on really like late as well. So sometimes if I go
It's
to
very
like get up,
random, yeah.
if I get up to the toilet and I go to the toilet, I usually take my phone. I'll sit on the toilet for a bit and I'm like flicking through. This sounds really bad, by the way. I'm watching you while I'm having a crap.
That's all right. It's
Um,
pretty.
yeah,
You're having a
it's
crap
quite
and you're
late.
watching
Sometimes you're
crap.
like 1 o'clock in the morning still doing these quizzes. Like,
Yeah, it's a bit random. Whatever the feeling is, I'll go with it.
yeah,
So it could be a quiz, it could be playing a random song or something. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, if you like randomness, I guess check it out.
yeah. It's definitely random for me when I'm having a poo. But listen, mate, thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Cheers,
Thank you
man.
for tuning in. Like the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we shall see you for another one-on-one fan talk video. Take care. Good you
Go on, you ones.